Shalom, I'm giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai Bashem Kakodah Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to title this video Elders of Transit 3. I received a strike on my main page, so now I'm on Elders in Transit 3. So pass it on. As you can see here, the last video I put up was 5 months ago. Anyway, pass it on, pass it on. Shalom. Let me just check this, I'm sorry. Check the notifications. I just want to try something. There was another video that was put up. Right, this is a short.
Don't be like the hypocrites. Don't be like them guys. They truly talk the talk, but don't walk the walk. And 3, the book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 20. For I say unto you.
Give me a second here. Give me a second. There's a video on my okay. I wanted to kind of check this out. This 52-year-old man got that knock on his door. Let me go ahead and just play that.
I can't believe this shit, man. I have to share this to everybody, man. Motherfucking, it was a knock on the door today, man. It was the motherfucking mailman delivery, UPS, and them motherfuckers sent me a letter, and I just got off parole, and like 2 weeks ago.
I don't know how true this is. He said a mailman, he said the UPS government works with the United Postal Service. It says he's 52 years old, being drafted to the United States Army. They don't draft that high. I think it's 34 or something like that, from 18 to 25. I think it's 18 to 25. But you could now enlist up until you're 42 years old. And you can have a so-called marijuana conviction on you, one, and you can still join. You can be a high school dropout. So they're telling you that they're desperate. So this guy at 52 years old being drafted, first of all, they haven't declared a draft yet. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is AI or what.
And I get a letter in the motherfucking mail. Remember, I'm telling you this. I get a letter. I'm 51 years old, about to be 52. Fresh off parole. I get a letter. I get a letter from the government. Donald Trump. For the United States Army. I get a letter from the United States. I get a letter from the United States fucking Army. The United States Army telling me to report into the closest office. And knowing the closest office in Nevada. So I have to report to the closest office in Nevada and register my name to United States Army. What the fuck going on? They say they ain't taking felons. They say they ain't taking motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, certain ages and all that other bullshit. They telling me I have 72 motherfucking hours to report and register my name to United States Army. Now, I don't know what the fuck going on. I just wanted to share this with the people, man. When Donald Trump telling you the age between 18 and 20, bullshit. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because I just got a motherfucking letter telling me I got to report for services. You know, services. So I don't know what the fuck going on. And Donald Trump is lying to everybody. And like I say, I'm 52 years old, man. You know, my eyes is bad. You know what I'm saying? Knees ain't right. And they telling me I got to report. Now you tell me, is they breaking the law or what? Y'all let me know. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up, man. Let me know if they breaking the fucking law, man. Army right here, man. United States Army, man. Can't believe this shit.
Shalom.
Okay, I'm not gonna play this whole thing. I just wanted to. The video title caught my eye, which is a typo. If that's, I don't know if this is a prank or AI.
I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Rakakwadash. All blessings, honor, glory, and power be unto the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahweh, through his only begotten Son, our Lord and our Savior, whose name is Yahweh Shai. And double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And salutations to the elect scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. My name is Amawan Gabar, and I'm back with another quick lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying, quick, fast, straight, and to the point. So as you heard, you know, Jake, men, people, all right, are being called to partake in this war of Armageddon, all right, over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is to say Yahweh Shaphat, or Yahweh's judgment. All right, in Armageddon, from the Hebrew Armageddon, or Armageddon, excuse me, is to say the valley of the troops. All right, which is going to take place over there.
Mountain of troops, but that's all right. Yeah, but it's going to be in a valley in Joel, but the Armageddon means mountain of troops.
In the so-called Middle East. All right, this is
and that's what we're talking about. And you know what? I don't know if it's a prank that this guy did, this Jake, 52-year-old Jake did, or it's AI, or if it's real and it just, you know, there was a typo. And 52, his name, there's probably a name of a younger guy, but you don't got to go to a recruiting office. Your name is in, when you're 18, your name is automatically put in the selective services, whatever they call it. So it sounds like BS to me. Now, I can see when things get hot, they might start grabbing up dudes that are in their 50s. You know, 16 to 52, you know, 16 to 60. They'll do pretty much what Ukraine did. The Ukrainian government did, or military. They were grabbing guys off the street. Guys would be in their 60s, or, you know, boys that were 14, 15 years old, grab them up, put them in a van, you know, put fatigues on them, give them a rifle, and just put them out there, man. So they are going to get a lot of people. Joel 2 verse 20, one of my favorite verses as of lately, because I keep kind of quoting it. You should know what it's saying. If you don't know, go ahead and read it. Scriptures say in Joel 2 and 20, I will remove the northern army, that's America, not Russia. Sometimes when it says north, from the north, it's talking about Russia. Other times it's talking about America. The Northern Army represents the four branches of the military of the United States: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. So whether they're recruited, they volunteered for the military, or they're drafted, anybody that's trained, they're going to be shipped over to that area right between the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea behind them, and the Euphrates being on their northeast. So there's going to be a shortage of men in America because they're going to ship so many men over there to the Middle East. You're going to have all those major armies. I sound like a broken record. They're going to meet in that area of the Middle East. We're already in the Third World War. If they didn't tell you, we're already in the time of Jacob's trouble. But it's going to intensify. It's going to get worse. It's going to get far worse. Oh, another thing, I put up a video on my main page that they gave me a 90-day strike. The last video I put up, you can watch it, is a re-up of another video that was put up. And it was about ethanol gas. What is it, E85, I think it's called, being put in your, I think it's E15, I believe. And I remember when it first came out, you have to have a car. First of all, it has to be a Ford, and it has to be E85 equipped. If you got any other car that's not for E85 or E15, I believe it's E15. Now it's E85. 85% is ethanol, which is made by corn. It will mess your car up. So you're gonna have cars stuck on the road because of this thing, unless you get an E85 car. And Trump tried to push this the last administration. He tried to push it and it never went through. So I guess he's pushing it now. You got Edomites and Jake complaining that the gas went up, but you're not going as far as you used to go with the gas, because I guess they probably got E85 mixed in the gas, but they're not notifying it. They're just doing what the fuck they want to do. This guy Trump is doing what the fuck Nero, he's doing what the fuck he wants to do. And nobody's able to stop him. You know, there's supposed to be laws intact that if a president is bugged the fuck out under the 25th Amendment, you're supposed to get him up out of here. He's leading the whole planet Earth to the brink of World War III, which we're in World War III, but he's leading this whole world to that utter destruction, which is the complete and utter destruction of Babylon the Great, whom the world ignorantly calls America. It will be engulfed in flames from missiles from both directions, from the north, coming onto the northeast, coming onto the north, and even southwest. You're going to have missiles coming from both directions. Russia can shoot missiles from either direction. So anyway, let's let this play.
Right here, right now. We're hearing of wars and rumors of wars. But Yahweh Shai said, be ye not troubled, because these things must come to pass, but the end is...
Yeah, because we want more wars to come. We want to get hotter. The hotter it gets, the closer we out of here. The closer is to the complete and utter destruction of America. Isaiah 34, Isaiah 14, Isaiah 13, Zechariah 14, Jeremiah 49, 50, 51, Joel chapter 2, Joel chapter 3. There's so many out there. Malachi 4 and 1. The day shall come that shall burn as an oven, and yea, all the proud and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. So there's so many prophetic scriptures. I haven't even mentioned Revelation 6. The pale horse represents destruction, famine, destruction, and death. John saw the mushroom cloud, which he referred to as heavens rolling together as a scroll. Isaiah said the same exact thing. Revelation 18 is a complete and utter destruction. John saw the desert, and then the Most High took him back, reversed him into why it became a desert. So this is all coming to pass, and you got Christians that are starting to say, take notes on what we're saying. They're starting to realize, because they've been in denial, they're starting to realize that we are the Israelites, and not only are we the Israelites, but the men that have been out there hitting the streets hard. And we had GMS. We've been out there all winter. There was a snowstorm we missed, and when it was, real cold, we wasn't out there. But about 80% of the time, we was out there. We always out there. So we out there on the highways and the byways doing them sit downs. All elect men are in autopilot. Okay. This individual right here, which is a young elder in the main camp, GMS Awakening 144, Almawan Gabar, all right, is his name. And nobody got to tell him nothing. He's on automatic autopilot. He's doing what he's got to do. And that's all GMS members are supposed to be on autopilot. We shouldn't remind you, oh, brother, you ain't did a video in 2 months. You got to no. We're going to tell you you're no longer in GMS. But brother, let me explain. I needed a break. No, ain't no time. We in war, man. We in spiritual war. Ain't no breaks in war. You don't get to put the T sign up, with your hand. Time out. Ain't no time out. Once you come into this thing, ain't no goddamn time out. Let's go.
Not yet. So what we are waiting on as far as the prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, starting with the apostles of GMS, the elder bishops, and then us brothers that came in via the YouTube all the way down. We're waiting and watching for the mass implementation of the mark of the beast, which is on the rise. All right, it's on.
When that comes, then the Most High can super speed everything up. And you women better get in order, because we're gonna be like a steamroller. We're gonna roll right over you. You women gonna have to get in line with the men. Isaiah 4:1. I keep bringing that up. I keep mentioning that. It's going to come to pass. You women are going to have to... first of all, your women are going to be humble. All you shit talking women, especially among you the Judite women, you're going to be humble. You're going to be completely humble, or you're going to be kicked out the door of a man's house.
His way. The infrastructure is already set up. The playbook is already laid out. And we believe that they may be using this energy crisis in order to further push for this mass implementation of a digital system for a start, all right? And it's all going to lead to the chip. All right, the Revelation 13, verse 16 on down is spoken about in Revelation 14 and 9.
Which, if you don't know, the other major camps are teaching contrary to what we're teaching. They're going to look stupid when they don't have to explain it to their people what the mark of the beast really truly is. How do you truly break it down? Because if your leaders say go ahead and take it, there's nothing, don't listen to GMS, and you take it, you're done with. And you can't blame it on us. We done told you. Ezekiel chapter 3, the scriptures say to warn the wicked. The wicked are Israelites that are wicked.
And also Revelation 20 and 4 and Revelation 3 and 10 talks about the hour of temptation. So that's when everything as you know it changes for the worse, in a sense of a societal collapse, economic collapse, food shortages, famine, plagues, and to restore order and medical services and whatnot, and food services. Everybody will have to take that implantable chip, and everybody's not going to take it. The Lord's elect won't take it. The scriptures say the Lord have reserved 7,000 men that have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So the current image of Baal is this New World Order system. And also the elect will not bow, but that's what we're looking for ultimately to happen. And in the meantime, a lot of men are being called to war. All right? A lot of men are being called to war. This 52-year-old man got a knock on the door from the U.S.
We don't know if this is bullshit, this is a typo, but there's currently no draft. So you don't have to report to recruiting office at this time. We're under the selective services, whatever you call it, whatever the technical term that you call it. where you, because I had to sign. When I turned 18, I had to go to the post office, get a card, and put my name and address in under the selective services. In case there was a war, I would be drafted. But it didn't happen, you know. But the last draft was during the Vietnam conflict or the Vietnam police action. So for this guy to say, they're not going to send you a letter saying report to the recruiting. Like I said, we don't know if that's AI. We don't know if that guy's a prank. It's a prank. He didn't show the paper. He pulled the paper out and kind of shook it in front of the screen, but he didn't show the paper. I don't think it's true. You know, we're not in a draft. We're not in an official draft. You can't draft somebody if they have not declared a draft.
PS with a letter stating that he had, I believe he said 3 weeks to report to his local military depot or wherever, however he phrased it. And as he was opening that letter, and you could tell by the look in his eye and the way he was fidgeting, taking damn near the whole video to open the letter, he sounds nervous. He even asked for help from the viewers to let him know if it was legal or not legal for them to do that. Well, all your rights are gone. Everybody's rights are being stripped away little by little, especially in a time of war. So don't worry about all of that. I mean, you got that letter, you got that letter. You know, and I thought of a scripture as I was sitting here, getting ready to do this lesson. You know, because ultimately, this is going to be judgment upon 2/3. All right, and part of that judgment is going to be to get taken, all right, or taking part of that northern army, pursuant to the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter, and going over there to fight and coming back with not even coming back, because I was going to say coming back in a body bag, but the only thing that's going to come back is your doggy tag, you know, in an American flag presented nicely in a box for your families, if that, you know, with 2 soldiers, you know, bald-head face-looking soldiers standing at the front door with a knock and saluting your family and walking away. A lot of men are about to die in this war, and the 52-year-old, come on, I mean, we know that. We did videos about it. I did a video about it that they raised the selective age to 42. 42 years old. So this 52-year-old just got that letter. All right.
Well, it's for a volunteer. It's not for the selective services. It's for a volunteer. You can volunteer. I think it was 34 up until 18 to 34, 36. Then it went up to 42. That means you can enlist in the military. It's not talking about the draft or the selective services.
So what I want to do is read this precept that came to my mind, because anybody that's going to go out there, these men that are going to get called for war, they was never part of the Lord's desire number anyway to begin with, part of the elect. You know what I'm saying? And those that are going to go to war and actually fight in this war and take part, they're going to die, right? And those who remain towards the end to fight when Yahweh Shai come back, they're definitely going to die. You know, the best thing, I mean,
if you're here in the safe and sound in America or in the land of Israel, you're going to die here by fire. You're going to get burnt up. This place is going to be no more. It will be the biggest desert on the planet Earth, 5,000 square miles, approximately 5,000 square miles, 2,000 from the north to the south, 3,000 from the east to the west, approximately. And people are not talking about the Demona Israelites. They're not talking about the Yah Israelites. They're talking about the former One Westers, the GMSs, the IUICs, the ISUPKs, and the other camps that stem from watching the videos of GMS, IUIC, ISUPK, and whatever. You know, you had the Sakari, which is formerly part of GMS, which broke off, started their own thing, Al-Azhar, Hakar. Then there was a big break off, so you got a lot of, there's no more Sakari. I guess it's all broken down and they got, there's guys that probably went back in the world. I can't keep up with all of them, but they have set up their own little camps. But they're break off ultimately from One West or from GMS. So now, can they be delivered? Yes, if they're teaching the truth the correct way, even if they're not in GMS or IUIC.
Jake, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You signing your death warrant. But let me read this. Jeremiah 15, and the point is at verse 2. And it shall come to pass, excuse me, and it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go? Then shalt thou tell them, thus saith the Lord, such as are for death, to death, and such as are for the sword, to the sword, and such as are to the famine, to the famine, and such as are for the captivity, to captivity.
Oh, that's a goodie, Jeremiah. Oh, Jeremiah the prophet.
Meaning what? If you're slated to die by war, that's how you're going to die. If you're slated to die by famine, that's how you're going to die. If you're slated to die by, what was one of the ones? Captivity, that's what's going to happen. There's no escaping the Lord's judgment. So when we see these young soldiers getting called out and recruited and forced into this draft and forced into this war, that's the Lord doing that. That's Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai doing that. Somewhere along the line, the Lord found it fit that that'll be their outcome and their judgment. For the most part, they trusted in Esau's military. They trusted in his system. They did not trust in the words of the Heavenly Father. So now, the Lord is about to punch their ticket. And it is what it is. That's the prophecy that we about to see a lot of.
And nobody's talking about this. All throughout the scriptures, same scenario. The prophet saw this fire. Two of them described it as heavens rolled together as a scroll, Isaiah and John. Other prophets had saw the other destruction as stars falling from heaven. The stars falling from heaven represented the missiles. Though he saw ICBM missiles. Back then they didn't have, obviously, ICBM missiles, so they looked like stars actually falling from heaven. So this is going to happen. And you're going to find out that the scriptures, the Bible, whether it be King James or other versions, that the Most High made it clear to the people of the world what's going to happen. And we're the only ones that know it, and we're commanded to tell the people openly. It says tell it. The scriptures speak about telling it on the rooftop. So we've been telling the people, and the people have been mocking. The scoffers. So 2 Peter 2, 2 Peter 3. Since our fathers have passed, nothing has changed. That's 2 Peter. And the scoffers, they're not scoffing no more. Because they're saying, wow, everything that GMS, and even the other One West camps, everything that these guys been saying, especially GMS, is coming to pass. And GMS might be right on the mark of the beast. We're the only ones that teach it. So let's listen on.
Dead men, a lot of people dying. The dead shall be cast out like dung. So this is all getting ready to come. And I have a list of scriptures here. I'm going to grab a few of them and just jump around. But just know that you've been warned, and the warning is about to come to an end. And that's why the scriptures talk about there's going to be a lot of widows. And a widow is a woman suffering a loss of a husband. There's going to be a lot of widows out here because the men
I already know what precepts is going to hit.
They're going to be taken to go and fight in this war, leaving behind families to fend for themselves.
And when all hell breaks loose, martial law, they're going to be grabbing women up. They're doing it now, but they're going to do it on higher level, more frequent. They're going to grab women up. They might send them to other countries, and they put them in whorehouses, or they sell them in the open market, the barter system. They sold women, men in slavery. They sold women for personal, concubines.
Or vulnerable families, because who's going to come in and take care of them families? Who's going to be there? The military. All right, martial law will be declared while most of these men are gone overseas. And then what's going to happen is a lot of these women will be taken advantage of. Their children, they won't have guidance to make proper decisions, rational decisions, or logical decisions. It would all be emotionally based and faithless. That's why the Lord said, when he comes, shall he find faith in the earth? Things are going to get so turned up.
The faith are the men that are doing this work. Constantly out there on the highways and the byways, doing the sit-downs non-stop. I did a handful of videos, 5 or 6 videos. Some of them were shorts. One of them was over an hour. Another one was maybe 30 minutes. And you see other prominent brothers, elders, and bishops and apostles and stuff constantly doing videos. A video put up, a sister asked a question about her husband. Bottom line is, maybe he was a Muslim. You trying to get him out of Islam, so you present him with the Passover. You can't put a gun to a person's head and say, go out on the highways and the byways or I'll shoot you. And you're doing it because you're scared of getting shot in the head. You can't shove this truth down a person's throat. Now I believe, which I didn't get the elder didn't read the whole comment, but I believe he was probably Islamic. And he said, well, we can't drink wine because that's against Islamic law. So he doesn't accept the fact that he's an Israelite. Maybe he's not one of the elect, and maybe you are. Who knows? Maybe he will be saved. If you're one of the elect, he could come around and finally see it. But it's going to be a major shakeup when the mark of the beast. That's what we're waiting for. I wouldn't phase at this guy declaring war, because they already had a war, a short scale war months ago with Iran. Remember, they shot missiles back and forth, then they pulled back. So he said, we're going to go back out there. We're going to bring the troops out there, and we'll be out there for no more than 2 weeks to a month. It's already past a month. If I'm not mistaken, it's already past a month. Now they got ground troops in there. So it's getting real. Those troops, in my estimation, we'll see, they're not going to close up shop. When they bring those many troops out there, it takes 6 months approximately to set up. So if it takes you 6 months for all the military equipment, the $1 million equipment, inside joke, and the personnel and cargo planes and so forth, it takes about 6 months. So then when everything's done for, it takes 6 months to come back to the States. They ain't coming back. They're just going to keep sending more troops. You're going to have skirmishes that's going to take place, firefights. You're going to have that ground war, but that's in a couple of days. We'll find out what's going on. And all war is based upon deception. If there's 5,000 U.S. personnel that are killed, they might say 50, because they don't want to make them look like they're losing. They want to keep the morale up. But they're going to stay there. The chip is going to be administered over there. They're going to bring doctors over there to chip them, in my estimation, and they're not coming back. And more of them are going to be shipped over there. Then they're going to use a thing called stop loss. Look that up. I spoke about that. So it's getting hot. The Most High is doing his thing. The Most High put Nero in this position for a reason. Remember, he changed this particular war, him declaring this, which by the way is a legal war because Congress didn't declare war against Iran. You got Republicans coming against this guy. You got MAGA people coming against this guy. Let's go. So it's hot. Like I said, remember we used to have scoffers on ain't nobody coming on our page scoffing no more. Ain't nobody scoffing. Because they're seeing, damn, GMS was right all the time. Especially when the mark of the beast comes, especially when the microchip comes. There's going to be a major shakeup, man. You're going to have certain people in IUIC that might be trying to reach out to GMS to try to get with them. But hopefully, Bishop Nate will say, you know what, the mark of the beast is the microchip, don't take it. Was GMS always was right? Yes, GMS is right. GMS is right, they were always right, they're the true prophets of the Lord. Or something to that effect. And you women, you're going to be looking for answers. And you're not going to get answers from Pookie and Ray Ray and the nigga that came out of lockup for the last 3 years. Tatted up. You're gonna have to find men of understanding. 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. You're not gonna go after any old nigga because you don't know what's going on. You're gonna go after the ones that are the prophets of the Lord.
That a lot of people are going to abandon faith, abandon their morals, their standards, and things they said they wouldn't do, they will do. All right, it's about to be crunch time.
Yeah, it tells you, we're going into that right now. 2nd Ezra 15. We're going through that right now. 2nd Ezra 15 and 2nd Ezra 16. It says that they're gonna come against their own neighbors, people that they've been knowing for years. When they run out of food, they're going to their neighbors to get whatever food. If you got a lot of shit stockpiled, food and so forth, and somebody hears about it, you brag about it, one of your kids say that, they're gonna hit your fucking house. They showed you that in the movie The Road, where you had abandoned houses in that movie. If you haven't seen that movie Road, please watch the movie Road. It's more of a serious. You got the movie Road and you got the movie The Book of Eli. The Road was more. There was no comic relief in that movie, man. You know, it made you really think. And then if you can get the DVD and watch the director's cut, where he does commentary, he tell you how when he was a kid he was suffering things like that. I believe he's from Australia. So this thing is getting real, man. This thing, another thing they can do, another pandemic, which that's not gonna work no more, because people had a lot of loved ones that passed. That people that didn't take, they found out that people that didn't take it are still alive. People that did take it got severely sick or died. I have personal friends, a childhood friend that died from it, and he said he was gonna go to the spirit world about a week before he went to the spirit world, and he said I shouldn't have took them damn jump shots. I got his picture right. When I get up in the morning, I see his picture every freaking day. Childhood friend from 10, 11 years old.
So let me just go through some of these precepts that I have here. What I could do is I'll go to 2nd Ezra 16, since that's one of the main precepts that should be brought out in this lesson. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So the virgins mourning, having no bridegrooms, there's going to be a lot of virgins as far as the young women. What's the Hebrew? Bathwala and Ayalama. Ayalama is a young woman, and Bathwala is an actual virgin. So you're going to have both. Young women of marriageable age and young women, marriageable age, untouched, mourning for a lack of men and for what's happening in the world. So it says the woman shall mourn, having no husband. So the ones that were married will mourn because their husbands are.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna definitely watch this. This is Tariq Radio premiering Now, Christy Noem's husband got exposed doing what? The dude is a cross person. He's a freak. They're all freaks. All those people in high government, they're all freaks. They're all freaky deakies. So as soon as I end this video, I'm gonna watch this one. And I you know, knowing Tyreek, you know you're gonna get that. You're gonna rub it in. These people are a bunch of freaks and wicked, evil, nasty people. Nasty people. Nasty with a capital N. These are freaky, nasty people that eat little babies. That's why this man, Nero, blocked it so much with what's her name? Pam, whatever her name is. The Attorney General. Pam Dundee, whatever the fuck her name is. And when she went before Senate and cursed him out. Now Jake couldn't do no shit like that. They covered up the files. And then they come to find out when the files was take pretty much. That's why this man went to war too. Because nobody's talking about the files. Everybody's eyes is on the war. Because his name was found near numerous, as Jake would say, numerous of times. Let's see what's going on. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. GMS in his likeness is live. American fatigue. We got to see that. We got to watch that. To a gathered upload. They may lie to the world, calling themselves Jews and are not. Bear with me for a minute, y'all. Spiritual maintenance is a requirement in its faith. Right, examine yourself. 2 Corinthians, what is that, 13 verse 5. GMS Boston, if the Edomite, is so strong, then why is he going to hide himself? There's another one I watch. Canadian prepper, I believe he's a J. Alert, Trump is about to do something serious in 24 hours. Another aircraft carrier destroys today, or I guess he wanted to say destroyed today. So this is in 24 hours, and this guy is usually spot on. And it's the first. This is the anniversary of the death of Tazadakia, the so-called God-sent comforter. He died on April 1st back in 2020, 6 years ago. Things are moving quick. GMS Hawaii Bar premiered now. Christy Noem's husband is he's a cross-dresser to the 10 Power. Yeah, it's coming out. These people high up in government, they come off as decent, honest people. They're all freaky and nasty and dirty and filthy. Let me see what else is happening. GMS, I'm a one. I buy 144. Continuous, thorough analysis is absolutely crucial. Beautiful. Because you gotta take these news clippings and you gotta filter them through the scriptures. I've been watching him. Snyder Reports upload this disruption could hit every household in America. I gotta watch that. Stay in the Spirit 144 live. An explosion of prophecy right in front of you. Another one I gotta watch. Give me a second here. GMS 34th is live, going live on Tuesday evening. Breakdown of Philippians chapter 2. Well, they're going to go into 2 verse 12. I'm positive of that. Gas, Patrick Humphrey, coming to you with breaking news. Gas rationing announced, stay at home and do not drive. And if you get gas, it's going to fuck up your engine, your system. Anyway, let's go.
So going, that 52-year-old man, he probably has a wife, probably has children that are probably in their 30s and whatever, 20s. You know, what's going to happen with them? They're going to get left behind. So it says their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. The daughters shall mourn, you know, the daughters are going to lose helpers, you know, they're going to lose friends, they're going to lose family members, they're going to lose their father ultimately. Verse 34, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish.
Shortage of men. That's why a man shall be more precious than fine gold. In other words, men are the prize. Israelite men, let me correct myself. Israelite men are the prize. Now this is the Millionaire Morning Show. We're waiting for U.S. troops to invade. Iran says they are preparing for a ground invasion soon. That's Vietnam. World War I, World War II. Those are ground invasions into Europe, into Germany.
The famous on the wars, that's when the bridegrooms are going to be destroyed. All these men that are being called out to be drafted and recruited, they're going to die. And the message is ultimately to get right with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Jesus Christ, they going to save you. You know when?
Yeah, Nate, you better get with the fucking program. Better call on a true name. Stop playing games.
They come knocking at your door with that letter. Without faith, without wisdom, without knowledge and stability, you're going to panic, you're going to shit your pants, and you're going to make irrational decisions. So that's why Isaiah 33:6 tells us wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. Things are getting ready to get turned up in society, and the only ones that are going to be level-headed are the elect men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And those that have that God.
Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. And 2nd Ezra chapter 12, round about the 30-some odd verse, it says, the Lord told the prophet Ezra to give these only to the men, the wise ones, not to all Israel. So there's certain things you're going to get that's only going to be for the wise, the elect, the prophets, the apostles, the elders. You know, when you go to Revelation chapter 5, did not John on the Isle of Patmos, did not he weep because he saw that the book could not be unsealed, 7 seals? Angel said, the Lion of the tribe of Judah come to break them seals, meaning get the understanding the book. These scholars haven't broken the seals. They think they broke the seals, but they can open up the book and read Revelation and read Jeremiah, whatever. Isaiah, Ezekiel, Zechariah, Obadiah, Joel, Malachi, Hosea. They can read those books, and sometimes they'll get it right, and other times they'll get it wrong, especially the book of Revelation. They'll never admit that Babylon, these scholars will never admit that Babylon the Great is America. Not one scholar would admit that.
Guidance in that day. So and their husbands shall perish of famine. So the ones left will die of famine, die of hunger, just like how we always read in the scriptures. In the book of Kings, it talks about it with Elijah. You know, during the time of Elijah, there were many widows. You have the famine in Samaria. It talks about the two women who were more than likely widows. Can't remember if the scriptures call them widows or not, but there was no man around, to the point where no food was accessible, to the point they reverted back to cannibalism and ate their.
I did a video a couple of days ago. I went to Google and I put in a history of cannibalism in America, and there was a couple of times when they were going from the east to the west, they got stuck out there in the mountains, and they had to convert there was a couple of incidences, and they gave names to it. There's one of the videos that I did where American, the settlers, they had to commit to the act of cannibalism. So it's coming back. Cannibalism is coming back. Another thing that's coming back is, you don't be surprised if you see a dead person on a highway or something like that. The highways, the infrastructure is done. I don't care where you go, at least in New York. Forget about the Bronx. The Bronx is beginning to look like a third world company, or country rather, but those potholes, man. So they don't care. This place is done. That's also in Isaiah 14. The worm is spread unto thee, meaning corrosion. Your bridges are falling apart. They can't build them no more. I mean, they got to take them down and build them. These bridges were built to last from 1950, when they started building bridges across America. That's when they were doing good monetarily. And these bridges are slated to, are built to go 50 years. Guess what? 50 years is, what is it, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 2000, right? 2000. This is 26 years overdue. You heard in the news of certain bridges that just collapsed because of the infrastructure. This place is done. The super rich don't even live in America. The super elite, they don't live in America. The multi-billionaires and trillionaires, they do not live in America. They know that this place is going to go down. They know that there's going to be a war. But they don't understand the scriptures, even though they monitor everything that we do.
Their own children. That's how bad it got, and that's how bad it's going to get. Women are going to lose husbands, and no food coming in, they're going to go back to cannibalism. All right? So, great suffering.
You may have a wife, she dies, you can't eat, you're going to eat your wife. You might die, your wife and your children might eat you. That's what Jacob's trouble is all about. Serious times we're coming to. You can't compare the time of Jacob's trouble. You can't compare it to any time in history. You can go back 5,000 years. And this is not the best time to be leaving the truth. This is not not the best time, anytime, to be telling people, oh, Gentiles can make it, like Hakar on the side. This is why we said those guys, both of those guys sold out. Just like Tazadakia, he sold out. What happened to Tazadakia? The Most High took him out. Our High Priest Around, High Priest Shaw, the Most High didn't take them out. But he took this guy out because he made that deal. You got High Priest Yeshai and High Priest Kazak. They're nowhere to be found. We don't know what Lahab is doing. Lahab had a page, Blaze Judah. I should go to that, see what's going on. But all you guys out there, and you watch our videos, all you got like Yum Yum Ramayallah, all you guys that went back into the world and you're doing your own thing, this is what's going to happen. If you live long enough, you're going to get microchipped and you're going to die here in America. In that order. You're not going to die here in America and get you're going to get microchipped first, and you're going to be slated to die here in America, most likely set on fire.
It's getting ready to happen in the very near future. So let me just slide through some of these precepts and see what I had pulled up. This is Jeremiah 49:25. How is the city of praise not left? The city of my joy, which represents the Holy Land, but Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. It says, therefore her young men shall fall in her streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. So a lot of these YNs, again, recruited, are going to get drafted, are going to get called out to war. You know, they're going to die out here in the streets, you know, trying to get it, trying to make things happen or whatever, however they're going to try to get it. A lot of them are going to die. The mighty men, which represents the men of war, the military men, they're going to die as well. You know, hey, again, the point is to repent to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai before it's too late. You know, I'm not going to make this long. Now, I seen this video this morning, and Jake sounded real scared. He sounded very unsettled and not at ease. And another precept just came to my mind, Isaiah. Because Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, goes into the destruction. Let me read verse 25, Isaiah 3:25. It says, thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty men in the war. Again, the mighty man represents military men. All right, so the men are going to fall by the sword. The sword is the gun. The modern day sword is a gun. It's going to get real violent out here in Babylon, and violent overseas, and whoever's left here, that northern army is truly about to be removed. That American army is about to be removed from the shores of Babylon, leaving it vulnerable, leaving the old, the sick, the women, the children vulnerable. And that's a perfect time for the book of Ezekiel chapter 9 to take place. Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin in my sanctuary.
Near that mark, for your other camps that don't go to the Hebrew and the Greek, the word mark there is not the same meaning for the word mark in, let's say, Romans 16, 17, and 18, or Revelation 13 and 16. Those are 3 different precepts with using the word mark. To get a better, deeper understanding, you got to go into the sake of Ezekiel 9 verse 4, set a mark upon the men that sigh and cry. The word there is thawa, which means exempt from judgment. Now, when did that take place? Ezekiel chapter 9, it took place back then. It's going to happen again. The things are written aforetime before our learning. Romans. Was that Romans 15 and 4, I believe? Somebody correct me. But that, when you read, to get the understanding of Ezekiel chapter 9, you got to go to Ezekiel chapter 8, because they were secretly worshiping, women weeping for Tammuz. It tells you in Jeremiah, I believe it's the 44th chapter, 43rd chapter, and also the 17th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, or 44:17, which I haven't gone to that in a year, but if you put, for a while, you put in Queen of Heaven. They made cakes for the Queen of Heaven, which goes back to Semiramis. and all Christianity is based upon Semiramis anyway. Also, was I going to say? And they wept for Tammuz. They said the women, the Israelite women, wept for Tammuz, which Tammuz goes back to the son of Semiramis. That's why when you see pictures of the Madonna and child, you always show a baby that might be 2 years old. That's not talking about Mary and the Messiah. It's talking about Semiramis and his son Tammuz, which she was impregnated by Nimrod. You know, the story changes up. And all these pagan, these nations that believe in these gods, they have the same story, but they change the names. So if you're a Christian, you're really a Babylonian. You're this Christianity. You read the scriptures. For example, a Christian will tell you that all the characters in the Bible, the Israelites, are all so-called white. None of them, not one of them was black. Even vocab, when you go to the Song of Solomon, when you go to Song of Solomon, and it says, "I am black, but calmly, O ye daughters of, O ye daughters," as a tense of Kedar, they say, "Oh, that's talking about a Shulamite woman." Solomon was in love with a Shulamite woman, but Solomon was white. No, it says the songs that is Solomon's. Those are songs, by the way. He's singing the character of a woman, a Shulamite woman. There was no such Shulamite woman in that Psalms. That's him singing songs. Remember, the songs of Solomon is just like the Psalms. They're songs.
Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. So there's an angel that's putting a mark, all right, a target, so to speak. And that mark, when you go into the Hebrew word, it's thawa, which means to exempt from judgment. So the Lord is targeting the righteous in righteousness. Like, don't touch these men. Those without that mark, get them. You know, so in other words, the ones that don't have the mark will be the actual targets for death. But the ones are targeted to be saved. You know, so you can understand that Hebrew word is thawa, which means to be exempt from judgment. So the men that are sighing and crying for all the wickedness, those are the ones that are going to be exempt from judgment. Those are the ones that are found amongst the Lord's elect. So everyone else are going to be slain. All right, the angel is told to have no pity, don't spare. Slay old, young, maid, little children, and women, the most vulnerable. All right, old is vulnerable, the young vulnerable, maid, little children, women, all vulnerable.
Unless they're protected, the Most High protects them, and your protection is going to come through the men of wisdom, the prophets, the elect. 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. They're not going to go. They're not going to run after a YN, because a YN doesn't know what he's doing. He was raised up by his mother anyway, so he's filled up with emotions, and they'll definitely ship a lot of these YNs to the Middle East to die over there.
So this is about to happen in the very near future. This is going to happen. Trust and believe that. So I want to get that. You know, and let me go back to Isaiah 3 and then I'm going to end it. So Isaiah 3 and 25, the men or thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty men in war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. So this is the destruction of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem, which is a people before a place, will see destruction, will see desolation, will see Jacob's trouble, will see a time such
we're in Jacob's trouble
as never before seen. And
it's going to escalate, it's going to get worse.
In that time, the ones that have that thawa, which means the mark of exemption, will be exempted from judgment, and those will be the men spoken about in Isaiah 13, 32, Isaiah the 4th chapter, which is the next verse over. A man, 7 women taking hold of 1 man in that day, because of protection, because of fear, because of calamity, because of all hell breaking loose, and because these men are hiding places from the destruction. All right. Isaiah 13:12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
One of my favorite scriptures, man. The men are the prize. You got a lot of Edomite women that they got a thing for Jake now. They always had a thing for Jake, but it's intensified. They know something. These Edomite women, these other women, mainly the Edomite women, they see something that Jake got, and we got to get with the Jake man. So if an Edomite woman goes up to a Jake man, and praises him, he don't have to follow after the sisters, man. And the sisters see that. They see that they're not the prize, and Jake is the prize now. But the true prize is going to be the ones, the prophets, the elect of the Lord. You that have endured to the end. I've been in this thing over 40 years. This man right here that you see on the screen, he came in when he was 8, if I'm not mistaken, 18 years old. He's in his 30s. He getting up there in age. So he been in this thing almost 20 years. Time goes fast. We in that time. There's gonna be a lot of death. We in that time. The mark. Can't say that enough. I can't speak on the mark enough. That's going to be the main scripture before this utter destruction comes. The mark has to be made manifest. And a lot of these other camps that teach contrary to what we're teaching, and we haven't changed the doctrine at all. We haven't turned to the right hand nor the left hand. So when it comes, and some of us will be put to death pursuant to, beheaded pursuant to Revelation 20 verse 4, we're going to see, you got to get in the mindset that you might be put in, have your head put in a place where your head's going to get chopped. Now, what are the women going to do? You really think the women are going to starve? I'm not taking the chip? No, they're going to take the chip. You think women are going to say, well, chop my head off? Nah, women's going to get emotional. So you got to be in the mindset that some of the elect will, not all of them, because the Most High got to save the elect, but some of them will get their head chopped off by that manner, pursuant to, like I said, Revelation 20 verse 4. And Bishop Nate got that all confused. He got the 1,000 years in verse 1, and the 1,000 years in verse 4 of Revelation 20, and 1,000 years of verse 7, all backwards and messed up. The 1,000 years in verse 4 is going to come after the 1,000 years in verse 7. He doesn't understand that. Because he said we're going to be in the kingdom for 1,000 years, and Esau's going to pop out of a pit and attack us. That's not going to happen. And he hasn't taught that yet since. That was about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And we got on him about that too. So the Spirit is not dealing with this man. Now he's beginning to see that the mark of the beast is digital currency. He just mentioned that some weeks ago. Oh, they're going to use digital currency to make you sin. But wait a minute. You said more than 10, 12 years ago that it's not talking about people getting the mark. It's talking about countries and companies. And you had your followers, your blind followers, repeat that after you. So if you're one of the elect and you get the oil back according to the dream that you have, you're going to tell the congregation, I was wrong. Do not take it. It is the mark of the beast.
even a man than the golden wedge of old first. So the Lord is going to make a man. I just told you that the mighty men are going to die. Men are going to die in a famine. Men are going to die in war. Men are going to die, period, except for the men that have the mark of exemption. So Isaiah 13:12, when it says, "I'll make a man," narrowing it down and coming, to the least common denominator. Who is that man? That's a man of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's an elect man, being made more precious than fine gold, because these are the ones that are gonna overcome, persevere, and be the last man standing when SHTF. So I'm gonna get one more. Isaiah 32:2. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadows of a great rock in a weary land. So picture a big rock in a dry, weary land, where you're just tired and exhausted, and there's that big rock. What's the first thing you're doing? You're running behind that rock for shade, for comfort, and for rest. That's a man of the Lord. All right, water, or rivers of water. Rivers, it's not a small body of water, it's a river of water. So imagine a river of water in a dry place. You run into that river, you submerging yourself in that water, drinking that water, and happy about that water. That's going to be a man of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in these days to come, in the very near future. All right, a covered from the tempest, the rain, the wind. This man is a covering. He's a shield. He's blocking all of that. So, brothers, continue doing what you're doing, serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and you will be protected.
If you're one of the elect, if you did 20 years of work and you fall off, there's 2 years left that you got to do the work, you fall off, all that's counted as nothing, as dung. Paul said, I count all things but dung to win Yahweh Shai. Let me just see some of these. Okay, show the letter. Right, show the actual letter. Faker than a $3 bill. Yeah, it's either AI or this guy was faking it. And then he said, instead of him going down to the recruiting office, he could have called. Call the government. What's this all about? Right, there you go again. There is currently no active draft in the U.S. At this time, the military is 100% voluntary, which is correct. Right? The military may still be voluntary, but they may also require all males to register for this. No, they can do it automatically. Your name, when you turn 18, you don't got to go to the post office no more like I did many, many years ago. So they already put your name in the selective services. I came here to say this exactly. This is why I tend to stay away from these channels gaslighting people into nonsense. See, a lot of these people are scoffers. They don't understand what's going on. Let me check a couple more. Yeah, he's not showing the paper. Like I said, some guys playing game. 52 years old, they're gonna ship you to war on the draft, and there's no draft. 52 and fresh off parole is crazy. They better draft the border drumpers. Well, that's what they're gonna do too. A lot of these so-called illegals, if they fight in a war, they'll get citizenship. So a lot of them are gonna die over there. What the hell? Cap draft. is only for up to 42. Nope, it's not the draft. That's for you can enlist. It went from, I believe it was 34, 36 to 42. You can have one marijuana conviction, and you can still go to draft. I believe if you were in jail, you can't go to war. They're gonna change all that. I am 51 and keep up with information to stay away from lies like this. So these are a lot of scoffers coming against the young elder teaching. In past history, America's, you are drafted. Let me see. In past history in America, you were drafted up to age 65. I don't know how true that is. Never heard of that. Some of those old dudes were extremely effective soldiers. It worked out because the battlefield was less modern. I've seen that age group still fire off some scary accurate shots. In talking, I'm talking about 60-year-old soldiers with accuracy. Imagine being headshot by a 65-year-old. You just made him a war hero. Okay, most of these comments are from people that don't follow Israel. It's population control. Right, if they do that. Right, no way this is real. They're not getting the message. They're just commenting on this what they say is fake. Woman says the man told her no more, no after. Yeah, a woman tell you she got herpes, you don't want to deal with her. I'm just looking at this. And a lot of you women, you out there, you hoes. Why didn't he show the letter? See, they're not getting the message that the young elder is putting forth. I'm getting ready to close it. He opened up the letter. Right. It sounds like bullshit. It could be true, but you know, there's currently no draft. He had to enlist and seek selective service, which he's 52. That's a debt collection bill. Yeah, he didn't show the letter. It said 42, not 52. And people at 42 are not drafted yet. You can enlist in the voluntary military. Oh, it's going to be a draft. And they're going to attempt, whether they succeed or not, they're going to attempt to draft women as well. Tell them in 42 hours, you will be turning yourself in. I'll take jail for 200, Alex. Alex, Quebec. Yeah, most of these people are just random people. They're not getting the message. They're not saying the Israelites. They're not saying Shalom. Like this title, right? See, this title caught the people of a lot of people that's in the world. The 50-year-old man got that knock on his door, and that makes you want to click, you know? So most of the people that clicked were not even Israelites and didn't even get the message. Anyway, let me do this real quick. Okay, here we go. Uploaded. Former U.S. ambassador admits he's deeply troubled and scared about escalating U.S.-NATO tensions. Well, he doesn't realize that this is going to be the end of under Esau's system. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So anyway, shalom, on to the next. Pass on that the fact I'm now under Elders in Transit 3. Shalom.